A speedy welcome to the show for everyone. This is Extra Speed on 98.5 Speed FM. My name is Mmemshima King, and I'm not alone in the studio. Today with me in the studio are
Mehitabel Favor Amami
and Fubara Morris Dumo.
Okay, our focus this morning is general advisors. That's to say, we want to know what you think about people who are willing to lend their own opinion without anybody asking them. These general advisors, these are general advisors, and also these are people that we don't know, but they are ever willing to offer advisory service at no cost. These are also some advisors who will advise you, but often what you regret after it is if you follow them. Yeah.
Okay.
There are times they also coach you on so many issues, including marital issues as well. So this morning we are streaming on YouTube this morning. So you can go to our Facebook page and click on the link and it will take you to YouTube. So Mehitabel,
Yes,
what
ma'am.
do you think about general advisors?
I don't know that term already. From what I have heard of it, is once I heard it, it already sounded like somebody that's a busybody.
Yeah, more like apropos kind of,
Yes,
right?
apropos, because the point is that some of them, they just come and give advice without really knowing context, without having the backstory. They just witnessed something or they heard something, and then they just come and start telling you what they think you should do.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, calm down. You're not the focal point of the matter.
Yeah.
So maybe ask questions before you start giving advice. But some of them mean well because they feel they have a solution to your problem. It's just that the delivery or the approach, the method with which they used to deliver the advice, sometimes it's not conducive.
Yeah. Maurice, how about you? What do you think about these general advisors?
For me, general advisors, they come to me as people that take serious and do not take serious.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Because it's in between the line whereby it's an advice you're giving me. And it's left for me to say, okay, this is valuable and this is not valuable. At that point, I would decide and think in my head. Because every advice, no matter how foolish or whatever it is, and sensible it can be sometimes, is left for you, the individual that are giving that advice to decide and be like, I would sieve out the sense in this and keep the rest for you. Thank you. Even though you wish me well or you don't wish me well, but thank you.
Thank you.
I've taken what I want in it
Yeah.
and you can take the rest.
Unfortunately enough, these general advices, at times, if you take their advice, you end up hitting the rock. You end up making mistakes.
Yeah.
So I feel like you should be careful. Just like what Maurice said, you should actually sieve what they tell you. You can take some and some
Leave
you just allow it to go. Yeah. So you can call us this morning on 08084275464. That's the number to call us this morning and make your contribution on our focus this morning. That is general advisors. What do you think about them? Do you actually take advice from total strangers and do you apply them in your daily life, or you just take your own advice and do what you want to do? So you can call us this morning. That's 08084275464. That's the number to call us this morning. So our Alamashagodobi team are out there on the streets. Let's hear what they have for us this morning.
My name is Felix. You get some things where happen to you where person will come ask you some question where you go even vex. But someday where you will even calm your mind down and talk to them. Like sometimes if person do an accident, some people they come they say bad comment. If not you, what do? You go vex. But now the way people they follow you, they talk, you go make your mind go calm down. I make myself clear.
Obviously, you did.
He gave his own advice there.
Yeah, he gave his own piece of advice there too. Yeah, so Maurice, what do you think about Felix?
Well, I buy into what Felix just said.
We have a call before we go. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, who do we have on the line this morning?
My name is Abraham. And
Okay.
I'm calling from behind Madonna Hospital here in Makudi.
Okay, good morning, Abraham.
morning.
Let's hear your view.
Morning. for me, the first impression that comes to me is it generally this is funny.
It's your response.
Many of these general advisors, many of them, 95% of them are mischief makers. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I am just telling you the truth. Many of them are advising you to force words out of you so they could use to gossip.
Okay.
Yes. They just want to start up a conversation so you could, add more meat to the story they may have heard. Yes. And I like what one of you said, that they come and they talk to you without knowing the backstory, without the context. I mean, that for me, that sums up the whole thing. Even if you want to advise, hear the story, have the full gist, so you can know the angle to which you're going to approach the story. They could be very, very annoying. Especially if it's unsolicited. If it's unsolicited, for me, my general rule of thumb is, if it's unsolicited, don't give it. Sometimes you could even run into trouble, even in the place of work. This thing they say, take initiative. My sister, my brother, even in the place of work, they say take initiative. Use your tongue to count your teeth. Because there are some bosses who think that you're doing too much. You're showing the show. This is Nigeria, for crying out loud. You understand? So for me, anyone coming to you with that unsolicited advice, even if you must take it, even if there's some element of truth in it, yes, you can use your initiative, and CV process, young gentleman.
Yeah. Thank you so much. The network was bad. The network was bad. I like what he said. He said even if you must take their advice, you have to be wise.
Exactly.
Because this is Nigerian, and you really have to be wise when people actually advise you. You should also sit down, calculate what they said, and know if what they said actually would work well in your life before you actually implement what they told you. So, Maitabe, what do you have to say about what Abraham said?
I absolutely agree, because I've seen people who do that, and sometimes they are obvious, like they just want to know something.
That's true.
They just want to gossip, and they are trying to get information, while some they don't make it too obvious, but you can sense it that the motive behind this advice is not pure.
That's
they just
true.
want to get you to say something that will implicate you, so that when they carry the gist to the next person, they will say, this one said, if you hear what this one said about you. And sometimes I just wish they will realize that these things are very hurtful. They are damaging, not only to the individual that they are talking to or about, but the relationships that happen between their community, their circle. He also talked about in the workplace. Some people would want to tell you, you should be sharp, there is that forward thinking. You should be able to take the initiative, but you should also know your bounds before somebody will now come and tell you, don't you know you are supposed to? Meanwhile, your boss hasn't given you the go ahead, and then you now go ahead, and when they ask, you say, hey, it's this one that told me. It sounds like an excuse rather than something
that's
smart.
true. And at times, this advice, when someone is coming to advise you, at times the advice sounds more like gossip. It's not as if they're advising you, but they just want to get more storyline from your your talk, and just
so it's build up their
exactly. And there was something that Felix said, that the Mmemshima team that went out. There was something that are out. There was something that Felix said, that there are some advice that you give one more, it will vex him instead. It's not as if so you have to be conscious of what you advise people out there. So you can call us this morning and make your contribution, and the number to call us is 08084275464. You're listening to Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makurdi, and our focus this morning is general advisors. What do you think about them? Do you take advice from a total stranger? Let's hear what you have to say. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Who do we have on the line?
Okay, it's Doe from Mobile Barracks Road.
Okay, good morning, Doe.
Yeah, that's a good topic you're talking about.
Thank you.
I think from my own perspective, depends on whether it's positive or negative advice. Let me say, in those days, you see neighbors or you just see any other person cautioning you, maybe you're doing something around their area that is not good, and they caution you that, hey, stop this. It mustn't be your parents or even your sibling in the house. We could take advices from neighbors. Let's take, for instance, in my own case, something happened last year in my neighborhood. One of my neighbor's child, I was going to work, and I saw this lady standing in a very awful position with a young guy. And she's in her teens. She was, I think she's around 15. And so I called her that, hey, that's not good for you. I didn't feel, I felt I shouldn't go and tell the mom first. I called her and cautioned her that she shouldn't be standing with a guy in that position. She was still young, because I saw they were even touching her in places that were not nice. And so, and as this year, she was confirmed pregnant.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I think depends on the kind of advice. I would have said that's not my business, because she's not close to me. She's not a relative. But I thought it's somebody I know in the area. I see her around, and I feel I should talk to her. Maybe her parents are not aware that she's doing that kind of a thing. Yeah, so I think depends on what you're saying. Yeah, some they give advices negatively, but then there's a positive aspect of it as well. That's why I see some kids, they do very terrible things in their schools and in the rest, and their parents are not aware. And when you come back, maybe when their parents get to hear of it, they are like, is this my child? They are arguing. You see, I know kids here that sneak out to go and smoke. There are bunks around that they go to smoke, and their parents are not. Recently, one just started misbehaving mentally. That is how they even discovered that he has been taking something. But me, I've been seeing him, because sometimes I come back and I see him following some guys that I know they smoke. And so I knew that he was going to do that. So it depends on if the advice is positive or negative.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your contribution. That was really touching.
Yeah.
Being a mom is actually touching. And I also think I got so much from what she said, because most of the times our children pretend at home, you know, and when they go out there, what they do, it's different, you know. But I think now we are in a society whereby people try to mind their business, because most parents wouldn't want you to actually tell them the negative things their children are doing. You know, so most people, they see these things and they ignore it. But I'm so proud of Doe. You know, she actually stood up for most people's children, you know, like that young lady. She spoke with her, she advised her, but unfortunately, I think she didn't listen. She was thinking that maybe Doe is more like, she's smarter, and Doe is more like an apropos person that wants to just meddle in her affair, you know. So this is also a lesson for people, mature people out there. If you see something wrong, please say something, because everybody's child is your child. You know, their parents are not there at that moment, but you being a parent, I think you should do something about it and advise those young folks out there. So you're listening to Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makurdi, and our focus today is general advice, SAS. That's our focus this morning. You can call us this morning and make your contribution. Let's hear what you think about general advisors. Do you take advice from a total stranger? Would you allow a total stranger to advise your child? What do you think? Call us this morning and let's hear your view. And the number to call us again is 08084 275464. Before we go to our Alama Shagodobi team out there, at what point in your life did you dislike general advisor? That's someone that would advise you when you don't know the person. At what point in your life did you dislike it? And at what point in your life did you actually needed it, but you were not able to get it? Let me hear.
Wow. I think in secondary school, it was the combination of the two of them. I did not like all the aunties and uncles, you know, all those teachers that would just call you and be giving you advice. Sometimes the advice was maybe out of concern, but out of context, like telling me I should not follow boys when that was not really my heart's desire at that point. I just wanted to be liked by my female classmates because I thought they were cool and I wanted to be, up to their standard. That was my focus.
Yeah.
And then, so it felt like, what's all this?
They are bugging you,
yes.
right?
But then towards the end of secondary school, going into university, I was like, I think I could have really used a lot of those talks because later on I realized I couldn't figure out some things on my own. The way I thought I could handle it, it was not going my way. And I really felt stumped. Like I couldn't find a way out. And it was in those moments that I really needed those advice. But it was like, now you're a young adult. Figure it out for yourself. So, yeah.
Morris?
For me, I would say same. Secondary school. Yeah. But the thing for me was, the advices when they came, it's just like the Bible said, wisdom is profitable to direct.
Yes.
So when the advices come, I would sift through which is valuable for me and which is not. And the one that is not for me, I would keep it for the person is for.
Okay.
I would keep it for the person is for.
Okay.
So the one that is for me, I would take, because I think there's this thing they say, in every nonsense there's sense. So I would just pick what is there for me and try implementing those things or working towards them. People do mean you well sometimes, and you're supposed to know people that mean well for you and people that do not.
Yeah.
Sometimes when people start advising you, they get carried away, and they touch some other topics or other areas they are not supposed to. Maybe because they are giving you a feel of what their life has seen or has happened to them, and they regret certain choices or mistakes being made, and they feel, okay, let me let you in on this. And at that point you'll be like, but this one no concern with what I've been doing now. So at that point, is someone telling you his or her story, but skipping the fact that, okay, it doesn't concern, it's out of context. But it's for you to pick sense in it and be like, okay, I've heard your story, and from what you just said, I do not want to tread in the same path. And maybe I'll keep this particular talk you just told me. It's not for me, it's for someone else. So if I see that person in future, I'll give this person that talk. But the one for me, I've collected and I'm okay with my dosage. Thank you very much.
Really
Funnily enough, as a teenager, most teenagers don't even want to,
True.
In fact, get that advice at all. Like, I can do it, what are you telling me? So they want to like do things their own way and how it pleases them. So our Mmemshima team are still out there on the street, and let's hear what they have for us.
My name is Moses. To me, if someone comes to me like a stranger and advise me about what he or she has heard that I'm passing through, my reaction to it will just be like, it will be simple. I will say, fine, I've heard your advice, and then let me talk to my people, because I'm not alone, I have a family. So that is it.
Do you get what he said?
Yeah, he said that he would just take the advice,
talk to his people.
Yeah, in case it's something that has to do with family, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, then he would talk to his family about it and sort it out with them, because he's a family
guy
person. And I think that kind of helps to reduce the gossip aspect of it.
Exactly.
Yes,
that's true.
Because if you're going to tell me something about my family or something going on in my household, I should be able to also tell them what you've said, instead of now taking what you've said and leaving it at that, because I don't know your intention behind telling me this thing. Some people do that to start trouble in the family.
That's true.
So, but him now, I like that he's going to talk to the family to say, okay, this is what someone so said about what's going on in the household. Does anyone know? Just to clarify that, rather than taking it and then maybe if it's a really personal thing, can say, oh, so this person really meant like this, and then you start having grudges against someone because of what someone else said.
Yeah, that's very true. I think that also brought back something in my head. Growing up as a child, my dad is someone that he had so many wives. So I met my stepmother, I think I was let me say 10. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
10,
Okay.
10, 12. That was when I knew I had a stepmom. So I was close to her, always visiting her, because she would give me minerals, she would give me bonds, So
Yeah.
I was that close to her. So people around that area, which
Yeah.
are the general advisors, they were telling me that, young girl, why are you close to your stepmom? It's not
Voila.
good. Stepmoms are wicked and all of that.
Wow.
So they were poisoning my mind inside. But as a small child, I was like, but I'm not actually seeing anything bad in what she's doing, because when I
Yeah.
go there, she takes me as a child. She asks me, are you okay, are you fine, how is your mom, how is everybody at home? She even gives me mineral and food. So as in, what's the bad thing that she's doing? So I think at a point in my life when I was now a teenager, I was now like holding a little bit of grudge against her for no reason,
Wow.
Yeah. So she was like, it's unlike me, what's happening, we are no more close anymore, it's unlike me. But deep down inside my heart, I knew that she didn't do anything wrong. But because of what people have been telling me outside, I was now trying to implement it on her, innocent her,
Innocent
But
her.
at the point in time, I discovered that it wasn't worth it, So we
Yeah.
came back together and we were friends again. And we are
That's
still
great.
friends till date,
That's great.
So it's fun. So you're listening to As King Radio 98.5, Speed FM Makodi. And our focus this morning is general advisors. Do you take advice from a total stranger? How would you implement an advice that someone that you don't know gives to you? So you can call us this morning and let's hear your view. That's 08084 275464. Call us and let's hear your view. So our Mmemshima team are still out on the street, and let's hear what they have for us.
My name is Sesu. For me, depending on the advice the person gives to me, if it's a good one, I can stick to the advice. But if it's not a good one, I will not stick to the advice. For me, that's my answer.
If it is a good one, he will stick to
Exactly.
it. If it is not a good one, he wouldn't. Morris, what do you have to say?
For me, once a person comes to advise you, the first thing is be open-minded.
Yeah.
Do not lock yourself up. And funny thing is, when people come to advise you, most times is when emotions are flying high.
Yeah.
And you start talking, and the good one will tell you, calm down. Calm down and let's think this thing through. This is the right path to follow. This
Hello,
is the
good
right-
morning. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Yeah, who do we have on the line this morning?
Chief Honorable Joseph Hart.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing today?
Well, fine.
Doing well, sir.
I want to first of all start by appreciating the good job King James here, Jennifer, Matthew, and everyone in the Asking Radio. The good jobs you are doing.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, sir.
much.
You are touching lives by telling things the way they are, and the big one you are doing is you are trying to bring back morality. The problem we're having in society now is the departure from values.
Yes, sir.
So these things you are doing, if you think you are doing business, note that I am telling you you're not doing business. You are trying to build back the broken walls of Jerusalem. That's what you are doing now.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
I'm conscious of this because I have what is called the Nehemiah Ministries. And I'm concerned with building back the broken walls of Benue State. So when I see people doing the same thing that I intend to do, I try to commend them. I want to commend you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
so
So
much.
back to what you're talking about advice.
Yes, sir.
It will notice those people that are listening to me that they know me. If anyone take telephone calls, that person is me. I take every call that comes in, whether I know your number, I don't know your number, I don't reject calls. The reason being that my father used to tell me that you don't refuse calls, but you can refuse message. If I could, Jennifer, please come. Please don't refuse to come. Come. Jennifer, please go and steal that Bible for me. At this point, you have the freedom, you have the liberty. Say, no, I don't steal.
But first of all, you refuse the call, but you refuse the message. They say again that advice not because this is how we talk about now in preaching.
Yes, sir.
Advice not because. There are so many advisors these days. Fake advisors, genuine advisors, busybody advisors. There are many kinds of advisors. If anyone comes to you or walk up to you to give you advice, the last speaker said it. First thing you do is be open-minded.
Yes.
Don't just conclude. Be open-minded and hear what the person is telling you. Secondly, filter what is being told to you. Like myself and His Excellency, when I advise him, it's for him to filter it and look at the ones that are genuine, and he takes them. So if anyone advises you, filter it, let the ones that are good pass into the bowl. Let the chaff remain in the filter. This is the secret about advice. So as an advisor, I'm advising that advise not because. As old people advise you, don't be quick to be angry. Who send you? What, don't do that. Now the calls I receive calls from people that other should be calling me. Are you a chief? Are you a local government chairman? Do you know this story? At the end of it, what they're telling me sometimes is very fake. I will have first-hand information, and someone will twist this time with telling me, calmly, I will listen to you, filter it, and take the little one. Maybe those people that gave me, they didn't give me all. So when you give me, I will filter it and take the other ones. Maybe there's something they didn't tell me, I will just take it. I'll tell you, thank you very much. And life is going on. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
God bless you, Asking Radio.
Thank you so much. Appreciate. Yeah, so Maurice, what do you have to say?
Yeah.
Maurice?
For me, I'm happy hearing that.
Yes.
Taking advices and filtering them. You know, when people come to you to advise you, it's not, you can take the horse to the stream, but you won't force it to drink water.
Yes.
A person comes, the person is telling you what he or she feels. Sometimes these people might be or are aproko people. They just want to collect from A, go to B, spread the story, add their own one or two spices inside, and continue. But advice is a word of wisdom. In every advice you receive, it's you, the person. You are the one listening to the message. It's you to decide, okay, this is for me. And sometimes when people advise us, we get this anger in us that, why would you tell me such?
Yeah, especially if it's not in our favor.
Exactly.
Yeah, we get angry.
We get angry and say, why would you tell me such? It's only a person that loves you that will scold you when you're wrong. The person will tell you wholeheartedly that this thing you did is wrong. And when it's just like the popular saying that goes, the truth is bitter.
Yeah.
Someone will come to you and maybe want to seek favor from you or sit in a good place with you, sit well with you, and be telling you an advice, but this advice is wrong. The person is doing that just because he doesn't want to get on your bad side. But a person that loves you would come at you full force and tell you, Madam, Oga, what you did is wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
And when the person tells you that, you know, okay, at that point, sit back and just look at it and be like, okay, this thing this person said, is it true? Did I go out of band?
It's very important. And what Honorable Joseph has said, as he said, as an advisor, he's also advising people. He said advice, no because.
Exactly.
And it's very true. Exactly. Yes. And one thing he also said, he said, don't refuse calls, but you can refuse the message. So don't refuse when someone is coming to advise you, but you should have sense and know how you are going to use that advice. Whether you would use it well or not, whether you will receive it or you will not actually receive it, but just welcome the person, advise me, but it's still left to you. You know how you implement the advice is another thing. That's what matters. So you're listening to Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makurdi, and our focus this morning is general advisors. How do you take people's advice that you don't know them? General advisors, how do you take their advice? That's someone that you don't know. How do you take their advice? Do you implement it? Do you actually make good use of it, or you just dismiss them. So you can call us this morning, and the number to call us is 08084275464. Before then, our Mmemshima team are still out on the street, and let's hear what they have for us.
My name is Odo Joseph. If somebody will come to me and begin to ask me or advise me on something in my life, well, for me, advice is necessary even in adult. So at any level, when somebody will come to you and they begin to advise, you have to give the person a listening ear. So it's left for you. After the advice, you work on it. Take the one that you write. Push away the one that you feel is not good for you. So I don't see any wrong thing in advice from anybody.
That's also a nice one. Isabel.
Yeah, it's not bad. Just as the Honorable said, advice, no, because it's not always to insult you or abuse your intelligence or undermine your intelligence. It's sometimes a perspective that you're not seeing, maybe because you are the one involved in the situation.
That's true.
So, but when it comes, like he said, it's left for you to use your head to determine how useful is this advice to me, first of all. What will be the consequences afterwards if I implement this advice? And also, the person that is advising me, will they bear any of these consequences? Or will I be in it by myself alone, bearing all the consequences?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. So you're listening to Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makurdi, and our focus this morning is general advisor. You can call us this morning and make your contribution on our conversation this morning, which is general advisors. How do you take advice from a total stranger? The number to call us is 08084275464. So before we proceed, I want to talk about marriage. There's something that is that funny. There is this thing that people do say, like a friend of yours would like, babe, if I'm the one, I will not take this nonsense. So how can your husband leave you at home and all of that? Then you now want to come and implement it. You come and go and tell your husband that, guy, I'm not going to take this job. And the guy now beats you, finish and decorate your face. Then you now go back and meet your friend and be like, babe, I don't know, so your husband wicked. You missing that, so you take beat you rich, So it still boils down to how you also present what someone has advised you. If someone tells you that, babe, don't take notice from your husband. Girl, calm down. You know your husband. If your husband is a wife beater or he's someone that has anger issue, don't carry that same energy and go and meet him. If not, he will decorate your face.
He'll be the one.
I'm telling you, So our Mmemshima team, the person that they spoke with, he said something about advising an elderly person. Yes, but I don't know how most elderly people they take it when someone that is younger. How they will take it when you advise them. Most of them they'll be like, please go away. The things that I have seen, have you seen them? But then I feel that these elderly people, they should also try and give us a listening ear. It's very important. So Maurice, have you ever tried to advise someone that is older than you, and how did they take it?
Yes, most times. I advise my mom. I advise my mom.
Yeah, that's true.
Most times she comes to me and she tells me, this is what's on ground. She gives me a holistic picture of everything. And when I listen, I would have to cool down and listen and tell her, okay, let's try it this way. Or we could try it this way and everything. And when I tell her, she said, okay, let's do it your way. And she takes my advice. And she comes out like, that thing you said, it worked out fine. I don't the old though.
So should we say fathers don't take advice? It's difficult. I think it's difficult.
I think it's also the presentation.
Exactly.
Because I've used style. Corner way to advise my dad.
Okay.
I think that's the thing for men though.
Okay.
I watched
their ego.
Yes. I watched a documentary where someone said if he used the context, if a wife is to go direct at her husband, the man will not bite. will not bite. But if you leave it, you play along and you just drop it as if it's
as
talk.
a suggestion.
They'll be like, this thing you're saying, it makes sense. So, but
what do you think? Let's do it this way.
You just drop it there for him and allow him to brainstorm on that idea, and you leave.
True.
He might come back later and say, come, woman,
you?
come. That thing you said, what did you say? He won't come direct and tell you,
enlighten me more.
I'm buying your idea.
Yeah.
But he's like, okay, I like what you said. Give me more. Let me know how to work this thing.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to men, you don't go direct. You don't go chasing at the boom.
Yeah, that's true. But now, wow, men are so difficult. Yeah. Seriously.
We'll survive.
I will survive. So you can call us this morning and be part of our conversation. And the number to call us is 08084 275464. Call us and let us know your view. So our Mmemshima team are still out on the street. Let's hear what they have for us.
My name is Tohile Jennifer. If a stranger comes to my house to giving me advice, if it is a very good advice, I will accept the person to give me the advice. Yes.
Okay, that was brief.
Yeah,
that was brief. Do you know, funnily enough, we don't accept third parties in our marriages, but we allow our pastors to be a third party in our marriage.
Yeah.
You know, so one funny thing is that you are not even staying in this pastor's home. You don't actually know how he is treating his wife or how they are actually working their own marital issues. You know, so your own mom that is with you, that you know you grew up in her house, and she's trying to advise him, like, no, don't be a third party in my marriage. You know, I think it's really pathetic. You should actually take advice from someone that you're actually seeing,
that knows what's going on.
Exactly. Than for you to take advice from a total stranger, because if you don't know what's going on in someone's house, I will not even advise you to take advice from that person. Someone that you actually know is the person that you would take advice from. So Tabel, if you get married, would you want a third party in your marriage?
Yes.
Okay, and who would be that third party be?
Currently I'm in a relationship, and we already have a system that allows us to have third party input.
Okay.
And those are our mentors.
Okay.
There's a man and a woman, a pastor and our mama.
Okay.
And they know us and we know them.
Okay.
So it's not like they are strangers. They are people that we've been around for years. So that's how we even came to the decision to say, okay, these people know us and they have wisdom. They are both married. They have their households. We've experienced them in their households.
Okay.
So we can now say, okay, these people can give us advice because they know us, we know them. We have this understanding, this dynamic, and they have the ability to give us the kind of advice that will help us. Now, for those people who just take advice from their pastors without doing all this background check, it's to their detriment, because you are supposed to know your shepherd. The pastor is like the shepherd of the sheep. He's there to feed you. But if you don't know your pastor and you're taking his word above people who are actually seeing what's going on, then that one is on the person, because it's up to you to make these distinctions, to get to know. If your pastor is beating his wife and then you are going to him for advice, what is the point in that?
Exactly.
As a minister, we look to them for spiritual guidance, but not everyone is for marital or family guidance, because they may only be able to do what's within their ability to teach or to preach the gospel. But aside that, they may not qualify to give you the kind of advice for your marriage.
That's very true. So you're listening to us, King Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makodi, and our focus today is general advisors. That these are people who are total strangers, but they give you advice. And at times, if you take this advice, they actually put you into trouble. Not all the time, but how do you accommodate this advice? How do you accept them? So you can call us this morning and be part of our conversation. And the number to call us is 08084 275464. Call us and let's hear your contribution. Before then, Our Alamashagodobi team are still out there, and let's hear what they have for us.
Okay, I'm Midagwe Elizabeth. Yeah, if a stranger comes to me, and the way I will welcome the person, if the stranger is giving me positive response, I will accept the stranger and listen attentively to whatever the stranger is telling me. But if the advice is not positive, then I will ignore it. I will not welcome it. That is just it.
Maurice, what do you have to say?
A nice one there.
Yeah.
There's this saying that different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely.
So what works for A might not necessarily work for B. The pattern Mr. A decides to go for an issue might differ for this other person. Now, there's this funny thing. Some people prefer, because they feel they will get candid opinion from their enemies rather than their, should I say, friends and loved ones, because they feel their friends and loved ones would pamper this talk. They will think of your emotions, your feelings, and would not want to hurt you and decide to bake it in a nice way and serve for you. But this other person will come at you and tell you, you messed up here. You went wrong. This is it, straight up. Like earlier, what Meitabe was saying about people going to accepting third parties in their relationship. The funny thing there is, I have this friend that she tells me every day that I would want my home to be like that of my mom and dad, because she grew up with her mom and dad, and she saw something there that till now she still loves till today, and she wants same for her home. That she's looking up to her mom and dad as role models. Her mom would call the boyfriend and tell him, "You are now my son. You are now my son. I take you as my son. My daughter is to your mother, and you are mine. So I would treat you the way I would treat my son, and advise you the way." The mother would even stop calling the daughter, and she'll be calling the boy. "How are you? How is your day going? Hope you're fine," and everything. And if the daughter is to complain something to the mom will say, "No, my son cannot do that. Let me hear from my son first."
Are you serious?
It's that way. So she, according to her, she loves the way her mom and dad has built their family structure. That even if they have issues, you don't see it in the public eye. They know how to handle their issues and treat their differences in a way that the children will be like, since they gave birth to us in this house, I've never seen mom and dad quarrel. But it does happen, but it doesn't happen in front of the children. They take it away from public eye and do it themselves and have their mechanisms to balance things. So that's different strokes for different folks. That's it for me.
I think for me, growing up, I didn't really like advice, but I think now I advise myself. I don't even wait for someone to advise me. I advise myself. You know, when I do something wrong, I sit down and advise myself. And if I'm not advising myself, I will call my 7-year-old daughter, explain the whole thing to her. She's a child, her mind is pure, so they would give me the best advice. So I would ask her that, okay, babe, sit here, this is what I did. You know, she would not tell me, but mommy, why did you know? Because I'm looking at, okay, that other person is a bad person, you understand? But she would tell me that, mommy, why did you do this particular thing? So at the end of the day, I would discover that, okay, I was even the one that
I will give the stranger my attention, and I will just make him to feel comfortable. Me, why giving me the question that you want to ask? Because I don't know what you want to tell me. Maybe it's something that can help me or help others. I don't know.
I like the welcoming part. What do you have to say?
Yeah, sometimes, just as Honorable said, advice no because you don't have to receive it with hostility. Like, what's that? What do you mean?
Who are you to advise me?
Who are you? Sometimes it's not necessary. It's not because they want to make you feel like you're not smart or something. But like I said before, there are some things, some aspects to it that you're not seeing. Just the way your baby will just say to you that this thing you did did not make sense.
Yeah.
Because to you, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone else gives you that perspective, you can be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done it like this or like that. Nobody is perfect.
Exactly.
Just because you think you were right does not mean you are. So sometimes when somebody comes at you, even if they sound very strict, like that thing you did, it was not proper, just calm down and receive it. That's it. You don't have to put up a defense. Sometimes you don't even have to defend yourself. If you feel that what you did was right and they're advising you and they are saying what you did was wrong, you say, okay, thank you, and you leave. Yeah, you don't have to fight.
Yeah. So Maurice, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
How would you feel if you had an issue with somebody and the person doesn't come to like tell you that, okay, Maurice, this is what you did, and the person goes behind to go and tell someone else, and that person now comes to tell you that, okay, Maurice, this is what this person told me that you did, and the person is now coming to advise you? How would you take that?
I'll feel very bad, first off, because I feel when two people have an issue, the only persons that can resolve that issue are those people. So if me and someone has an issue and this person is going to tell another person about that issue, the person you're going to tell is not me. So the person will take it according to what you say and react to it according to what you say, forgetting my own parts. The only thing the person can do is to come back and relate to me and tell me, this one said this, and I'll get angry more. But okay, I think there's a call.
Yeah. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, Honorable Joseph. Yeah.
On this issue you just asked now, look at this in two ways. There are times, there are cases that someone will offend you.
Yeah, you will be fast a little bit because there's no time. So
when somebody offends you and you feel that the best person that will mediate this is that other person, and you go to him, there's nothing bad about it. It's called alternative dispute resolution.
Okay.
It's better to go to somebody. It's not a bad one if he's not going to gossip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The line is bad. Okay. Yeah, that was a nice one. So may tell about what to round up the program.
Definitely when it comes to having somebody advise you about something that two people went through, I would prefer to you come and talk to me, at least point it out to me that this is the issue. Then both of us will go together to meet this person to say, okay, here is the case, help us mediate between these two different opinions, rather than me going to report you to the other person and then the person also coming to now just come and start advising you or correcting you without hearing your side is also not so smart for an advisor, for a mediator. You are supposed to hear both sides.
Yeah, that's true. Maurice?
For me, hear my side. It's better me and you just clear everything ourselves. Maybe you could say at that point we were both angry and tempers flowing, but when we calm down, we could come together, talk, and settle our disputes. And for example, the general advisors, Abraham never knew that he was hosting angels in his house.
Yeah.
But he took them in and he listened to their words. That's an advice.
Yeah.
No one single man is an embodiment of knowledge. No man is an island on his own.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
You take in what you need and leave the rest.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Okay, for me, I would use the words of Honorable Joseph and say, advice no because. Okay. Know how you make good use of the advice that is given to you. And I have been your special host, Mmemshima King, and
Mehitabel Favor Amami,
and Fubara Maurice Dumo.
And we say do have a lovely Monday.